Goodness me, we're live. We've had the green light here. So, welcome everyone. You're rolling with Home Show. It's issue number 58. How did we get this far? I really don't know, but I'm awfully glad to be here. And I'm with today the award winning Liz Leggett. So, let's bring her out the green room. Hello there, Liz.
Hi there. How's everyone doing? Is everyone
Well,
okay?
I think it's a remarkable Friday, I think, today.
Good.
I think what I want to do, actually, if I may, Liz, is to take you back just a few months, okay? Because we build you as the award winning, and it's important for everybody watching out there in wherever you are to fully understand what actually happened. So we're going back to June the 25th, I think it was, up
Mhm.
in Birmingham at what's called the ICC, which is the International Convention Centre. It's this is no small fry because we've got the what's it called, the HSJ Digital Awards, and of course that is the Health Service Journal, which encompasses many different things. Okay, but it's there to celebrate improving patient care through technology. So there was Liz, and she got all dressed up, and with her colleagues as well, black ties and all that stuff, limos turning up, Ubers, and anything else that you cared to mention. And Liz went through this great big auditorium, okay, and then suddenly I imagine we went, wow, look at this, circular tables and all that kind of thing. Okay, so on that particular evening, let's get cut to the chase now. That I understand there were 25 different digital award categories. Okay. And by looks of it, yours was number 4, but that could be on an alphabetical list. And you folks at home, you can look this all up at your leisure. But number 4 was the Digital Innovator of the Year. So as you can imagine, I think there was an MC up the front with a dinner jacket, bow tie, all that kind of award will be best demonstrated that success, both current and potential, of a new process or way of working. Okay, so I imagine Liz's heart is beating a little bit quicker. She's waited and prepared and done all that stuff. And so there were 5 nominations, and these are they. Where there was the East London Foundation Trust, Dr. Alex Harborne. We got Healthcare First, which was Dr. Mohammed Murad Khan. Leeds Teaching Hospitals Trust, Thomas Burden. Royal Cornwall Hospitals Trust, Roberta Fuller. And then, hear this one, South Yorkshire Primary Care Workforce and Training Hub, Liz Leggett. Okay, so the five people there, all standing, quivering, waiting. And the guy at the front probably takes out an envelope, may well have been gold. Okay, and he opens it up, takes it out, and probably said something like this. And the winner is Liz Leggett from the South Yorkshire Primary Care Workforce and Training Hub. And I bet, Liz, everyone went crazy. How did it feel?
Yeah, a little bit unexpected, really, to actually, first of all, to get there and then to hear your name read out. It was quite strange. But yeah, the plan was that I said, if in the, weird sort of eventuality that it is that I actually have my name read out, please team, please manager, will you come with me up to the stage? So I was kind of going, I need some support, I need you, I can't go up there on my own. When actually they read my name out, what I actually did was shot up from my seat and ran across up to the stage, ran up to the stage, danced towards comedian Ed Byrne and just took my award and went, oh my gosh, where is everybody? So I have to publicly apologise to my director and my colleagues who were sat on the table, who I left for dust when that happened.
Well, you picked a fine time to do that. You might as well do it live on Facebook to apologise
Exactly.
for what you did. But the
There you go.
elation must have been fantastic.
Yes, absolutely. Again, just so unexpected. As you read out, we were up against big NHS organisations, GPs, and consultants and things like that who'd done equally amazing things. And for me, little old project manager, to pop up with my name, I was like, oh my goodness, okay, so here we go. And then that's when obviously I left everyone in the dust. So.
Of course. And I bet you've got somewhere in your household a little gong or something that you
I
can dust to
have.
show off. And here
It's
it comes,
pink.
everybody.
It's pink.
It's pink. That's the
It's
best colour
quite
going,
heavy.
isn't it?
There you go. Yeah, it's pink and it's heavy, so I can do some damage with that.
Oh, wonderful. And where do you keep it?
Oh, well, I did joke I was going to keep it in the toilet, but I don't. I keep it in the cupboard in my office, so that's okay.
Oh, well, thank you very much for bringing it forward today. But if we roll the clock back, into your formative years, did you ever imagine that when you started, at primary school or something like that, that you would ever imagine a day when you'd be on a big stage getting a wonderful award quite like that?
No, absolutely not. I was kind of used to sort of being on stages at school. Like I played an instrument, so I was always in the orchestra. And I'm quite outgoing, quite positive. Yes, oh yes, I'm quite intellectual. But yeah, so I did that all the way through school. But yeah, absolutely not. I didn't think for 1 minute that my role would be in the NHS, that it would be involving technology, that I would be on the forefront of anything. I think when I left school, I was just happy to get a job, and kind of be in business somewhere. So yeah, not quite what I expected.
So which part of the country did you grow up in then?
So I am born and bred Doncaster, so South Yorkshire.
Donny.
I do like, yay, good old Donny. I do like to travel. I will say that. But yeah, I've always said that if I could make a difference at all, I'd like to make a difference for the patients and population of where I live. And that's kind of what I've done. I've always stuck around this area and again expanded a little bit into sort of the wider South Yorkshire. And now with the work I'm doing, it's taking me a little bit further, which is nice, which is great. But as I say, my kind of thought all along was where I'm from needs to, if I'm going to do anything that benefits anyone, then I want it to be where I've come from, So quite happy I'm doing that.
Excellent. And have you kept the music going through the years?
I kind of did. I kept it all the way through primary school, middle school, grammar school, into college, and then obviously life and work took over. But I still have my trusty violin. I don't have my mandolin anymore, which I'm really upset about. Actually, it was quite a beautiful thing. But I do listen to music as much as I can. Yeah, it's a big part of me still.
Okay, so is there some connection then between your work, which demands an incredible amount of intellectual skill, and the kind of sounds and places that music takes you to? I mean, do you have a particular piece of music that you like to play or listen to that really helps you?
No, I think when it comes to music, I like everything and all things. Like last year before Christmas, we went to see sort of Austrian, the Austrian waltz. Is it the kind of the Northern Orchestra were playing all these Austrian waltzes, and I went and I was like, oh, this is, I don't know whether I should be in the right place, but I absolutely enjoyed every minute of it. And then I'll go to kind of modern concerts, and then I'll listen to older music that my dad introduced me to, and I've got uncles and family that all sort of played musical instruments and played guitar, so they were all into like the rock and 70s and all of that kind of stuff, so that still sticks with me as well. But I'm an equal opportunities music listener, I think it's fair to say.
Equal opportunities music listener, that's a cracker. Is there a particular composer that you like the best then? if you're going to settle down at home after a tough day at the office?
I don't think so. No, I think it depends on the mood. I think there's different music for different moods, and sometimes you just want something loud and shouty, and sometimes you want something calm and relaxing. So, no, I think it depends on the mood. Absolutely.
Oh, right. Okay. So talk us through now the actual work that you do, and then we'll talk about what you did to win your award. So describe a typical day's work for Liz Leggett.
Oh, wow. I don't think there is a typical day's work, to be honest. I think at the moment where the work has got me, so the award was for basically pushing the boundaries and testing out different methodologies and different technologies. That has got us to a place where at the moment, the training hub that I work for, there are lots of different program leads that are kind of experts in their own field. And what they will do is they'll come to me and say, right, I've got this sort of set training schedule with all these different topics. What out of your library of content and your toys and technologies can you bring to these sessions? And how does it fit in, and what does it bring? So what I try and do is kind of match up what they're teaching with a bit of content that will basically enable the trainees, the learners, to embed the education that they're receiving on that program by getting them to practice by using technology. So often a typical session will kind of be education sandwiched between practice within the headset, and then we'll debrief. Then they'll get some more education. Then they'll practice again in the headset or using some other software, and then we'll debrief. The idea of that being that we hope that the mix of education and being able to practice will embed that learning, and that they will remember that learning more than if we just do death by PowerPoint kind of thing. And we often say that within the headset, or whenever if you're using a laptop and a piece of software, that it's a psychologically safe space. So within that space, as I say, you can practice, you can make mistakes, you can, if you're kind of using the same principle but doing it in role play, or you're role playing with your peers, or your assessor or your kind of educator is looking at you while you are doing that and trying to practice, the fear of kind of stage fright kicks in, the anxiety of doing or saying the wrong thing kicks in, and that kind of real quality that comes with simulated practice disappears because there's that fear that you will be judged. Now, if you're in a headset, no one else can hear or see what you're seeing or hearing, and no one is listening to you, and you can kind of practice and make the mistakes and almost kind of push yourself a little bit harder than if you were in a group of peers, for example.
Okay, can I just bring this down to just a lower level, right? To give an example. So what I think you're talking about is like modular learning. Would that be right? About particular topics. So who would be receiving the benefit of these training modules?
Okay. So we've got quite a few different groups of people that we train. So we have people that are fresh out of university, that are newly qualified, that want to work in primary care or general practice, but they're unsure as to what the job entails, or they need a little bit more of a fuller induction, or they need to understand where their role fits in. And we kind of cater to that by setting up these programs to give them a bit more of an armory of tools, really, to help them embed properly and get the most out of their role within that setting. We then kind of do other programs like aspiring practice managers. So you might have somebody who works in a general practice, has worked there for 10 years, but they feel like they're stuck. They want to do something else. And the practice is looking at kind of, bringing on the next generation of practice manager. And they've spotted this person, but they haven't got the chance, the opportunity, the real understanding of how to kind of get this person ready for that role. So we'll run a program that will do that. We'll introduce them to the different aspects of managing a general practice. And then kind of on the flip side of that are GP trainees, trainees that are domestic, so were born here, learn here, or international medical graduates that were born and learn outside of the country that are coming in to kind of be a GP here. So we will often sort of give them training and again do things like consultation skills, for example, or communication styles,
Right.
how best to kind of communicate with patients, that sort of thing.
Oh, I see. I get it now. So, what I think, just for our viewers, that folk will go through the educational process at university and similar, will be either in the UK or elsewhere. But what you're doing, and the skill of your training packages, is to localize that knowledge into skills which will benefit the folk who run through the doors, or come through
Yeah.
your doors, so that they get the very best possible care.
Absolutely.
So how I mean, have you got a particular success that you think, yes, that particular project went really, really well, and that's one of our showpieces. That's our kind of what do we say? That's the thing that you're most proud of.
Okay. Well, I think there's a couple. I mean, obviously, managing to get anyone in a VR headset that's never put a VR headset on before is a minor miracle anyway, because a lot of people come in and they're very wary about it. They've never used one before. Same as me. Like
When you
4
say a
years ago.
VR,
Sorry,
whoa!
no,
I'm going to ask you. No, it's all right. No, because I
right.
promised you I'd do this. You've said VR headset. So, what is one of those?
So it's a virtual reality headset. So this is basically, if anyone's seen them before, it might be an Oculus headset. We use Pico, but they're basically a big sort of set of goggles almost that fit over the head, fitted to a couple of straps that go down, and they sit on the head really. And what you're viewing is the content that we've either uploaded or we've kind of arranged for you to see during that, in that headset, in that session. And it can be various different things. So it could be something very, very simple, like a video that's been shot in 360 degrees. So by that, I mean, if you imagine a camera in the middle of a room, it will film the whole room the whole way around. And that video then placed in a VR headset will ensure that the wearer, no matter where they sit or no matter where they look, they can look around the entire room. They can see everything that's happening and they can see it from all angles, which is really cool for putting someone actually in an environment they've never been in before. Cool. And then on the completely opposite end of that scale is a completely made up virtual world where you're sat talking to an avatar, or you're talking to somebody who has been created and programmed. So there's a big difference, but it all sort of sits mainly within the headset.
All right. So, I mean, has this caught the eye of other trusts and other people across the country? Do you think, I would like something like this?
Absolutely. I think the two big questions I get asked is, first of all, how did you afford that? How did you afford that? How did you do that? And I can go into that. That's not a problem. It's no secret. And the other one is how do you get around the whole kind of Wi-Fi and data issues? Because, as you and your audience may be aware, any NHS organisation, we're very kind of strict around our data provision and data privacy, and the Wi-Fi networks are all very, very secure and very kind of controlled, really. So when we're kind of looking at how we use pieces of equipment like this, we have to be very conscious of what we're using, where is the data stored, what data are we collecting, and how we access the internet. So those are the two big things really that people come to me and say, how did you do it? And I guess the other one as well is how do you integrate it into the programs, and how do you integrate it into learning? So as I kind of mentioned before, the fact that we've got programs that are running continuously already, they're established. They've been established for 15, 16 years. To come along then with some new kit and new software and go, here you go, try this. There's very much a kind of balancing act between not using tech for tech's sake, but using it where it can actually make a big difference. So yeah, lots of different trusts, local and wider nationally, have come and said, how do you do what you do? Can I see it in action?
Wonderful.
Can you demonstrate it? So yeah, absolutely.
But ultimately, it's going to be Joe Public, Jane Doe walking in Tesco's right now, who will ultimately be the benefactors of all this wonderful training that you're doing. Do you find that the feedback is, yes, I couldn't have been as good as I have become because of the training I've received?
I think it's still very early days in terms of the technology. So we're still really, I would say, probably realistically sort of 3 years into properly embedding it. I think the work that the Training Hub has done before the technology, yes, we get plenty of people that come back and go, do you know what? I didn't understand how general practice worked. I didn't know it was a business in its own right. I didn't know that the GPs owned that business. So all of that is, we get that pretty regularly. I think for our kind of initial early on evaluation and early feedback, particularly with the international medical graduates, they were very concerned about people not understanding them, or issues around having eye contact and things like that. And when you're in the headset, a lot of the communicative stuff and the communicative modules will sort of concentrate on where you're looking and how much you're sort of shaking your hands around, and are you looking at the patient, and are you concentrating, are you actively listening and communicating well. And as I say, the kind of international medical graduates really latched onto that and said, oh my gosh, I didn't realize what I was doing or where I was looking. So that immediate feedback is really good.
The way you're talking, I'd love to have a go at this myself. I just interrupted you. I would really love to come and have a go at one of these.
Exactly.
But do carry on. You're going to say, go on, carry on.
That's fine. I think the other two really key things that stick with me as well, and this was some of our sort of other GP trainees, what I call the domestic ones that have kind of trained here. One said, normally with any training, and she was quite freely and open admitting this, but any normal training that is PowerPoint, I would have been on my phone 5 minutes in. I would have made some excuse to leave and make a phone call. I would have been scrolling. I would have been answering emails. But with this, I have to concentrate because I'm in this world, and that's the only thing that's happening. And I was like, oh, this is good. This is good. And the other one was, I had a lady freely admit that she was on the autistic spectrum, and she said, I love this because I can go back, I can go at my own pace, I can skip forward if I need to, I can repeat it, and no one was judging her, and I just thought, gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So just wind it back just a fraction, right? You mentioned about this is very particular for primary care. So somebody watching this show thinking, what is primary care? How would you describe the locations of primary care?
So in the scheme of it, looking larger and looking down, I guess, there's primary care, secondary care, community and social care. We're now beginning to integrate a lot of the kind of community, primary and social care elements now. So you'll hopefully begin to see a lot of integration and a lot of kind of partnership working with that. Primary care in its purest form originally just meant general practice, but now it does mean things like community eye care, community dentistry and community pharmacy. So obviously your local pharmacy, your local Boots or whoever is your local one is part of that. So they begin to do certain healthcare services as well, which is really great. For someone like myself, if I know I can go to my local pharmacy and go, I've got a bit of earache, can you help me? I'm straight in, I'm sorted, I'm back to work, But yeah, so general practice itself, your doctor's office, if you like, is part of that wider primary care umbrella.
Okay. All right, I got you. So taking all this to the next stage, what are your hopes for, I don't know, the next couple of years or so with the work that you're doing?
Okay. I guess there's a couple of different arms. I mean, first and foremost, I'm quite happy wherever this takes me now. I'm excited. Whichever way, whichever direction I go in, I'm quite open and honest. It's not a problem.
As long as it's in Yorkshire.
Well, who knows? But yeah, I think we've got a couple of projects that we're just beginning to start that are new. So with the knowledge that I've amassed, we're now beginning to find gaps in training or gaps in or issues in the workforce that actually new training mixed with technology could really help with. So we've got a couple of different projects on the go that we've just started. So one is a dementia experience. So we're hoping that we can continue on with this. We're trying to, again, using the 360 filming, is recreate what it's like to have dementia. Because a lot of the time, if you're watching somebody who has dementia react in a certain way, you're thinking, well, this is weird. Why are they behaving in that way? When in actual fact, if you understand what they're seeing or how they're perceiving things, that behavior becomes very natural. And if you were perceiving what they were perceiving, you would act in exactly the same way. So we're working with a charity called Enrichment for the Elderly. And we're kind of creating about 6 or 7 different scenarios. And we're hoping to be able to test those out with care home staff, community staff, and primary care staff to go, look, this is what it's like. And we begin to build empathy, and we begin to build a better armed workforce then to help treat these patients. Another one is kind of a bit more medical, a bit more technical, but we've started to test a tool that we've built for training cervical screening sample takers. So these are nurses that are qualified, and I think those ladies on the call will really understand it as a smear. You know, it's not the nicest thing in the world to go for a smear test. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to kind of fill a gap where we understand there's a confidence dip between a nurse actually getting the education of the technicalities of doing and why you do a smear and this is how you do it, to seeing their first patient. There seems to be often a time lag, so their confidence dips. We've created a tool which is a suite of these 360 videos matched with a virtual reality kind of activity where you get to practice the art of doing a smear, of taking a smear. Right. So we're hoping that nurses that will have access to this during that gap will keep their knowledge up, will keep the momentum going and keep the confidence up as well. And we're, as I say, we're just about to test that out now just to see if it does make the difference we think it will. Going on from that, I guess there's a lot of talk about AI. There's a lot of scariness around AI. And I'm just kind of halfway through an apprenticeship on AI transformation. And I kind of guess it's a bit about understanding what AI is and what tools are out there. But there's also the practical element, which will hopefully help GP practices and other organizations embed these tools that will help them, but they also understand the risks and the safeguards that they need to put in place. So it becomes a less scary animal and it becomes something that we can actually work with. So I'm hoping that we can take that on a little bit further as well. And I become somebody who's a bit of I wouldn't say an expert on AI, because there aren't any experts on AI at the moment. We're still all learning everything every day. But someone that can sort of go, it's okay. We'll try this. But as long as we've got safeguards in place, you'll be fine. That's okay. So a bit of a helping hand, I guess, through that as well. That would be one of my aims.
Well, you're certainly at the cutting edge of all these things. And so as we enter the kind of closing stages of Home Show, there's a couple of things that have crossed my mind. Is that you are part of a team. I can't imagine that you are the only person involved in the work that you do. You must be collaborating with so many people. So what was it that caught somebody's eye to think you should be the innovator, digital, let's get it right, digital innovator of the year? Was there a particular success that said you're the one?
I think I wouldn't say it was a particular success. I think it was the culmination of everything, of all the testing, of all the engagement, of all the kind of learning and the tears and the tantrums and the worrying about Wi-Fi and everything else that kind of made me forge ahead. And I, again, you were absolutely correct. Yes, I am the person that's pushing this. And yes, I am the only person in our team that looks after the headsets and does all the kind of pushes the digital envelope, if you like. But there are people out there that I've worked with, for example, V12 Telecom, bless him, Charles kind of helped me, rescued me when I couldn't get onto any Wi-Fi anywhere, no matter where I was. He came up with an idea of, well, you just need some data that you can take with you wherever you go. So he sorted that out. A simple thing, but he made it work. He helped me make it work, so people like that are brilliant. XR Education, again, those that help me do the 360 films. As long as the stuff that I want to do has much wider appeal, not just to our hub, but to across the UK, they will come and help me do that. And they'll do that for free. As long as I am happy and open for everyone else to access that for free on their platform, they will help me do that. So it's about understanding where you can actually work with these people and where the best value for money is and where the best relationships are. I just think it was building relationships. It was asking for forgiveness, not permission. It was all of that. Let's just try it. Let's just give it a go. And I was given that freedom. My director, Louise, just went, do you know what? If you make a mistake, if something happens, we'll have a look. We'll fix it. It's not a problem. You can't do much damage with this. Just try it. And I thank her every day, and I forgive her. I ask for forgiveness wherever I go now.
Well, I think it must be absolutely fantastic to work in an environment quite like that, where, behind the scenes you can make a mistake. But actually, what does make a difference is the choices that you make. You won't be remembered for your mistakes, but the choices that you make. And I'm sure you've made a plethora of brilliant decisions. So if somebody's watching this video today, and thank you very much, everyone, for staying the course, can you tell us where can we find a little bit more, maybe about the work that you do or the trust that you're involved with? How can we find out more?
Okay, so we do as a training hub have our own website. Obviously, I'm quite happy to share that with everyone on the group as well. I am on LinkedIn as a professional contact on there. I do tend to post a lot of the in real life, this is how it actually happens stuff, photographs of people sort of sat in headsets in large rooms that maybe doesn't mean anything to other people, but those in the industry that kind of realize just how hard it is to get 20 odd people sat in a headset and it all working. It does land with certain people. And I like to share what works and what wins we have and everything on there as well. I do try my best to do a blog or a vlog every now and again as well. That again, obviously, is usually on our website, and we share that through social media. The vlogs have gone a little bit thin and few and far between as the work has ramped up, but I do try and keep everyone informed as much as I can. So yeah, without bragging, that's where I am.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think it's self-promotion. I think because you've got to do that, because you write something or you do something and you show that end product. You're not bragging. You're actually saying, this is me. This is what I do. How about you, kind of thing. And full marks to you, because it's no wonder that you've done so well and have achieved so much this year. So is how would find you on, say, YouTube? What we need to type in?
I will have to find that out. Normally the links are all sat on our website, so it's probably the website that you'd go to first. But I will share that
to the website. So the website the website address is what?
Very long. And I will share that. I'm so sorry.
You can spell it.
I can't spell it. It's very long. But if anyone kind of puts into a search engine, South Yorkshire Primary Care Workforce and Training Hub, we should pop up there. It's a very long title. This is the thing. So it's a very long web address.
Well, in actual fact, I'm being a bit old-fashioned here because we don't go around saying you find me on www. anymore. But the actual way to do it is to go into Google. We can say Google or there are other search
Yeah.
engines, and type in Liz. What would the let's do this one for real. What should people type in after South?
So it's South Yorkshire Primary Care, Workforce and Training Hub.
Well, that sounds it. You got that, everybody? You can type that in and you can find out lots more stuff. And I'm sure you'll disappear into the internet and you'll find a whole lot more. You know what, Liz? I think we could probably do some dinner party chat here for a good hour or two longer. But I'm afraid, we're coming to the end of it all. So what does Liz Leggett do? Well, what will Liz be doing after Home Show today? What's your afternoon looking like?
Well, I am using a platform called Body Swaps, where there is an element of that where you can create your own scenarios that you do within the headset. So I am currently looking at creating a job interview simulator for our refugee nurses that are coming over. We help them kind of get into work, help them get their nursing qualification over here, and sort of help them with their maths and English. So to be able for them to practice a job interview is just a really big thing. So that's what I'll be doing this afternoon. I'll be hopefully creating that so it works.
Well, it's really great to understand the wider aspects of what you do and the fantastic work that you're doing. And it's no wonder that you were recognised as a Digital Innovator of the Year 2025. So just hold on a minute, because I need to tell everyone about the next Home Show, which, of course, on the 14th of November is, of course, World Diabetes Day. And on the 21st of November, we've got Lucy Chambers from Diabetes UK coming on the show. She's a head of research, impact and communications, and she's going to be talking about the early stages of type 1 and a particular thing which has just been a big buzzword called teplizumab, TEPLIZUMAB. That Liz has nothing to do with Liz Leggett. She's been our wonderful guest on the show today. Thank you ever so much. That's on behalf of Dennis and Eve and Connie and Matty, the Home Show team. Thank you ever so much for being such a great person on Home Show today, and we all wish you the very, very best of luck. So everyone watching this today, we'll thank Liz, and we'll see you next time on November the 21st with Lucy Chambers. We'll see you then.